Hello, hello, hello. Hey friends, Svava Brooks here. And if you are watching the replay, thank you so much for being here. My name is Svava Brooks. I am a trauma coach. What does that mean? Hey, how are you doing? I work with adult survivors of trauma, child abuse, neglect, trauma. I offer one-on-one coaching and online support groups. If you're interested in learning more about the services that I provide, please visit my website, svavabrooks.com. Hey friends, but if you're here watching this live, please say hello. Please let me know that you're here. Please tell me where you're from so I can welcome you. And just a quick heads up, yes, I have been gone for a few weeks and maybe you caught, yes, so good to see you too, my friend Wanda. Good to see you. Yes, I've been gone for about 3 weeks. I was traveling. I was in Iceland, my home country, but I'm coming to you today from Portland, Oregon. So I am so happy to be back. Let me just say, I had good intentions of trying to do my usual broadcast from Iceland, but with the time change, there's 7-hour time difference, and I was seeing private clients in Iceland, all that good stuff. So busy, 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 yes. And I am still a little bit jet lagged, so just a little more whining here, and then we'll get back to business. But I got up at 4:30 this morning, which is, I got an hour more sleep than I did yesterday. So I was happy. I'm celebrating every morning. I am taking back 1 more hour of sleep. So, but I'm still here. But I've missed you guys. I have missed you guys for sure. Hey, Rob. Yes, missed you. Thank you, Wanda. Right? My hair has grown in 3 weeks. It must be the fresh air of Iceland, right? I did lots and lots and lots of self-care while I was there. Well, Sue was there for about a week to keep an eye on me, make sure I didn't get into any kind of trouble. And I had warned her, but we did go swimming in the public pools. There are so many public pools in Iceland because, of course, there's tons of natural hot water. And this mermaid over here, Wanda, you would love it. I did a lot of swimming, a little less swimming, more soaking in the hot water. And also, let me say, soaking in the hot tubs and in the cool tubs, even some ocean swimming, right? Did a little bit of ocean swimming this time. And going into the cold water tubs, so good for your body. I think it's good for my hair too. No, you're right, Sue. We did not get into trouble. We did not get into trouble. Right, Wanda? You saw all the aqua time that we got? Yep. Yes. Yeah, and Sue, she led the charge on the lake. She went into the lake, swam far out there. She was being very adventurous. Plus, we'd had such a good day that day because it was pouring down rain, wasn't it, Sue? For the first, 4 or 5 days when we got there, it was just terrible. Hey, Angel. Hey, friend. How are you doing? Yes, Sue, Wanda, you're right. You're right. Iceland will never be the same. Nope, never be the same. So I'm so glad that you guys are here and that we are back to our regularly scheduled broadcast, right? Well, we play it by ear over here, but I'm going to do my best to be consistently Tuesdays and Thursdays, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right. You are good for, all right. You're working on your boundaries. Excellent. Excellent. I would say that boundaries are a work in progress for most of us our whole life. So it's one of those things, right? But let me just, quick heads up to new people that are watching or watching the replay, what we are doing here. I am gonna kind of set up the conversation with a little bit of text from my book, Releasing Your Authentic Self. This book is available on Amazon or Kindle. And in our closed Facebook group, I have posted the page of the day. The page of the day has a little bit of text, and then there's 2 questions. And our group members have answered the questions in our closed Facebook group and giving me permission to share that publicly with you. And so this is where we learn together. I'm a big fan of support groups. I would not have recovered from my healing journey. Yes, exactly, right? World Mental Health Day. Yep, exactly. Well, in my world, my friend, oh, it's tomorrow. Well, in my world, every day is a mental health day. And I don't mean that in a negative way at all. All right, no worries. No worries. Like I said, today, every day is a mental health awareness day. And if it isn't that I'm trying to be aware of my own mental health, I do my best to lead with the heart, right? Lead with kindness and encouragement and support, because, you know, we have no idea what people are dealing with and what their backstory is and what they're struggling with, right, today. So what we see is usually just the tip of the iceberg. And I prefer to give people the benefit of the doubt that we are all doing the best we can, given what we have, our resources, our support, our well-being. And if we are off balance, me included, lack of sleep, and right now, yes, these puffy eyes are a little sleepy, a little jet lagged, right? I appreciate people being kind to me when I'm having my off day. So I do my best to extend that courtesy to all people all the time, 24/7. So yes, but somebody made that comment that I actually think October is a mental health awareness. So anyways, tells you that I'm quite not up to speed on some of those things here on this side of the Atlantic. So thank you, Angel. Thank you so much. So, but the other thing I wanted to say before we dive in, right, that your job is to practice self-compassion, right? Navigate a little self-regulation, kindness towards yourself. If you recognize you're being anxious about the topic or what's being shared, please be gentle with yourself. Please be gentle with yourself, right? It is normal that when we hear people talk about things that perhaps we have not been supported, encouraged, or given the space to talk about, it can bring about some feelings. So be gentle with yourself, please, please, please. And I do my best, but I am pretty direct here usually, right, friends? So we are probably going into the deep end of the pool like we usually do, but all done with the intention to encourage and to support and to celebrate all of us where we are on this journey, right? Thanks, Wanda. Well, Rob, thank you, my friend. Rob says, so calming and great to have you back here. Good, good. Well, you know, speaking of boundaries, right? Our topic today is boundaries. to me, because we are going to be, you know, every time we're here talking about healing after trauma, you know, boundaries for me create safety. So for me, what I'm sharing here with you guys, I'm just kind of setting that this is how we're going to do it. This is how it's going to happen. I'm setting a little bit of boundaries for us, right? So you know what to expect. So your mind knows what to expect. And so your body goes into, okay, that's what's going to be happening. All right. So if we do feel anxious because I've said that could possibly happen, chances are you may better be able to navigate that and to recognize, oh, wait a minute, she said that might happen. Here it is. So what do I need? So what do you need? And as we're talking about boundaries, if your need and boundary is to ask for support, and we are here to celebrate and to honor and talk about, so we'll do our best to support you in this moment, given what you're sharing and what your boundary issues are. But like I said, the reason why I'm setting up how we're going to do this, because it provides boundary. And to me, boundaries are safety. It's the container. All right, friends. So what else is new and good with you guys, though? I feel like I've been gone for way too long. I want to catch up. Catch up. What's new and good? What's new and good, right? Most of us will go right into what is not working, what is wrong. I'm encouraging us, yeah, what am I grateful for? What is new and good? What am I focusing on? What healing transformation am I working through? Slowly. Yes, the hard doesn't mean that the hard stuff goes away, but let's also recognize our successes. Let's see, Sue, my cat has recognized your voice and has come to see. Oh, much love to your kitty, Sue. Both Sue and I had sick cats. We were in Iceland with our sick cats, both getting treatments and going to the vets. So we were supporting each other. Rob says, I went to a comedy show tonight. That's great, Rob. I love comedy. I don't like going to the comedy shows. That discomfort, the tension in the room, that's not my thing. That's not my thing. I'd rather be at home watching it on TV. But my family, they're big fans of comedy. So, and your cat was sick too, Rob? I'm sorry, Marmalade was sick. And now Kira is doing great, Sisu. She is well and eating like mad. It was laid back. That's great, Rob. That's great. And Angel says she is doing EMDR treatments. That's awesome, Angel. I'm happy for you. Great. Good for you. Glad that you are getting some help and support. All right, Wanda. I get it. I get it. I like comedy shows. I just don't sit up front. That's right. You don't want to be the one the comedian picks on, right? Or all of a sudden you're part of the show. I'm like way in the back. So that's awesome, Angel. I'm so happy to hear it, that the EMDR treatment is helping you. That's wonderful. I am so glad. So glad. Yes, Wanda, right? You walk in late. There you go. There you go. Exactly, exactly. That's awesome. So Rob, you said thyroid. Was that your kitty having thyroid issues? Health issues? But I hope all our cats, there's a few cats in this group too, so I hope everybody is doing better. Aw, I'm sorry. I hope your kitty is doing better. It is no fun. No fun when they get sick. It's hard, right? They can't communicate. Yes, thank you, Sue. Penny is back to his old self and has put on the weight again and is definitely way better than he was. And he's on a special diet right now. So it's fun with two cats. I have to keep them separate while they eat. So Kevin, he's like an eating machine. His belly looks like it. But I have to keep them separate. But Penny is on special food and done with treatment and looks like he is, much, much better. But so, all right, that's it. We're caught up, my friends. That's good. So today our topic, the encouragement today was practice non-attachment with toxic people. Set firm boundaries with no emotional attachment to how they choose to react or what they do. I know that is way easier said than done, especially when our automatic knee-jerk response, that emotional, right, thing that pulls on us, sometimes we are halfway down the chute of responding to something before we even catch ourselves. So, but let's set up a little bit here more around boundaries. Boundaries are healthy. Boundaries are what help us to navigate relationships. Exactly, Sue. It takes time to establish them. Right? They help us to navigate relationships with context, knowing what makes us feel safe and what doesn't, knowing what we need and what we don't. You have every right to detach yourself from toxic people in your life and put up boundaries. And if they react badly, it reveals how much it serves them to be around people who don't have boundaries, which is not love. And I would say that, boundaries are hard, especially when we grow up in a household where, no one modeled healthy boundaries for us. No one was very clear and respected, this is where I end and this is where you begin. This is your private space, right? This is your body and, your boundary and your wishes, and your, authority is to speak and you can say no and, all that. Yes, I like this. I don't like that. No, you cannot speak to me like that. No, you cannot pick me up and carry me somewhere without, right? When we didn't see that modeled in a healthy way, it's hard. So where do I end and where do you begin? So, hey friend, thanks for asking. I am a trauma survivor and I am sharing from my healing journey with my fellow survivors here on Periscope and on YouTube. So I'll do my best to answer any questions that you may have about healing. And feel free to chime into the conversation. But over on YouTube is where our group members are chiming in with their comments and questions on the stream here. So yes, Sue said it takes time to establish them. So the two questions, yes, that is my book. I'll hold it up for you again. And if you head on over to YouTube, the channel is called Releasing Your Authentic Self. and the book is available on Amazon and Kindle. Wanda says, private space, nope. I was told this is my house. I let you stay here. Wow, Wanda, I hear you, right? It's like, even if you had a space in, your room in your house growing up, it wasn't always respected, right? It didn't mean that because your door was closed that people knocked before they came in, right? So a lot of those messages carry over, like we bring them with us from childhood into adolescence, where, right, we're trying to figure out, where do I fit in? Where do I belong? Where are my people? And unfortunately, when we don't have boundaries, people tend to step over our boundaries. Angel says, I really wasn't allowed to express any feelings as a kid. They shut it up, or I'll give you something to cry about was the rule. I'm so sorry, Angel. I'm so sorry, my friend. I hear you. Exactly. Thank you, Sue. You are not alone. You are not alone, my friend. And for me, yes, it wasn't even so much that I was told not to talk about what I was feeling, but I knew that talking about it, I would get someone into trouble if I spoke up about what was happening. And I had seen what happened when someone got mad in my house, and I wasn't going to make anybody mad. I wasn't going to get anybody hurt. So I put up with it, right? And when we put up with boundaries being violated as children and as young adults, then what happens in adulthood when we maybe enter intimate relationships? It's that, and I don't know about you, but as a young woman, I swear I was stunned, how many jerks I would attract. It's like I often felt like I was just walking around with a sign on my head that I was someone that could be mistreated. Nobody to talk to anyway, says Sue. Yes, I hear you. I hear you. So as we are learning, my friends, right? As we are learning, as we are healing and becoming the parents and the protectors that we needed, creating a safe space for us to hold ourselves and our inner child while they express the hurt, the things that we didn't get to talk about, we develop we become the safe container, the person that holds the boundaries, right? And the more we do that, the more we understand the impact of it and the importance of it. And then part of that, right, is to then practice a little bit of self-compassion towards ourselves. And the more we practice self-compassion and kindness towards ourselves, then we are able to kind of separate who the person is and their behavior. And, this person may be in my life because, right, their family, or, right, my partner or my child can't easily walk away from them, perhaps. But you maybe start to recognize some of the behaviors and some of the boundary violation that it's like, wait a minute, that's not really okay with me. That's not really acceptable. And then, of course, sometimes it's really hard and scary, right, to speak up. And for some of us, we've talked about this before here in this space, we have to divorce some of our people, some of the people that, maybe some of our siblings, maybe some, our parents even, just to, get away from them if we possibly can. to like, no, that's not okay with me, and I'm not going to be around for this. And I recognize from my personal experience, that's very hard to do sometimes, very hard to do. So let's see, I'm gonna scroll down here. Wanda, do I have your permission? And Sue, do I have your permission to share your comments for today? I'm gonna wait until you guys give me a heads up, if that's okay. Thank you guys. Sue says, yes, for me, it was literally a divorce, a literal divorce. I hear you. I hear you. Let's see, Wanda shared with her comment to the 2 questions that I asked today. Excuse me, what firm boundary can you set today with the most toxic person in your life? And the second one, what kind of affirmation can you create to help maintain this boundary? So Wanda shared with us, she says, I currently have no toxic people in my life. However, during inner child work currently, and although I know it's a lie, my teenage self feels toxic. But what I think may feel like toxicity is actually fear. Fear of trusting. When I think of all the pain experienced as a teenager and the story I made up to survive, it is so embedded in me. I don't know what boundaries are needed, so I don't have an affirmation. That is a really, really powerful awareness, Wanda. Really powerful awareness. And you're absolutely right? Often, you know, the boundary confusion, right? Because we didn't know growing up, and then from being treated so poorly repeatedly that we expect, and then we pick up where other people left off, where other people stopped hurting us, abusing us, we pick up because we start to believe, right? Like you said, it's a lie that you are not good enough, valuable, worthy, deserving of kindness and respect and care and love and support. So that part of us, that perhaps emotionally stunted part of us, just acts out kind of outwardly, and you know, and towards ourselves, right? And it's kind of fed by our inner critic in a way. Hey, friend. So if can I ask a question, Wanda? Yes, exactly, Wanda. She says, as a teen, I didn't respect other boundaries and I set none for myself. Yes, I hear you. I hear you. So how is it going working with your inner child? So are you doing some of this work with other younger parts of you? While I'm waiting, Wanda, and take your time, no rush. And you can always say, I choose not to answer. Okay, you know that. I don't mean to put you on the spot at all. But what's interesting, right, is that underneath, like you said, the toxicity is fear. And, you know, the fear, if we can imagine, you know, for a young adult, and if we just all reflect on our own selves, like when I was really scared, yes, exactly, fear because of lack of safety, Sue, exactly. So did we need the most, right? We need, and that's again where I talk about, we become the parent and the protector. And again, it can be confusing because I'm like, healthy parenting, what does that mean? What does that look like? Protector, no one protected me. But the more I started kind of tapping into boundaries, make it feel safer. Yes. And I'm just going to reflect on how this was for me when I started going inside to hold my little girl, and my inner teenager. I was afraid of how angry she was, or they were. And I was afraid of almost like the explosive feelings. But what helped me too was to separate who I was as a teen and the behavior, right? And once I was able to take a look at what had been done to me and why I was so hurt about it, and I had no one was there supporting me, no one there stood up for me, no one, kept, pulled me out of troubling situations. It was just repeatedly, bad. So it was no wonder that I had kind of given up, that I was just fed up and pissed off at everything and everybody, to the point of, well, I'm so bad, I'm just going to show you before you figure it out. So I'm going to be in your face. I'm going to, speak to power and be disrespectful, because I really had no idea how other way to be. And that was just me, like fear, pouring kind of outwards, right? Wanda says, my therapist is working with me on how to reach my teen self. We've been talking about can show empathy. Yes. And here's the thing, exactly, Wanda. Once I was able to, stop seeing my inner child as a bad kid or as a terrible, shameful teenager because of all the things that I did to self-harm that were maybe shameful or I wasn't proud of, I started to feel compassion for her. Exactly, Wanda. Exactly, my friend. And that's exactly it. Once when I could look at all the things that I had done as a teenager and as a young woman from the perspective of, look what was put on this poor child. Look what, this is a desperate cry for help. The acting out, it only gets larger and more aggressive and more outrageous because inside is like this little, soul who's just like, well, how loud do I have to be? How bad do I have to act out for anyone to show up and show me, to set a boundary and say, no, I care enough about you to say, stop. I see that you're hurting. And I see that your hurt is hurting you, and your hurt and hurting you is hurting you and others. And you were hurt by others that were hurting. And so how can I make it safe for you to express, I hear you. It doesn't matter, Wanda. I get it. I do get it. That's again where you step into being the adult, right? It's like you knew better, but your biology was hardwired, acting out. It was compulsion in your body. Your nervous system, connection through your body and mind was driven you are pushed out. The part of you that knew better was pushed out. And we're doing this. It's like a drug. It's like you're just plugged in and off you go. So now that you know that about your body, now that you know what your body does in the throes of cycle of trauma, it's like, oh my goodness, of course I couldn't stop it. Of course, I was just a kid, right? And anytime that I should have known better, it's like, it doesn't matter now. It doesn't matter now. But you, sweet Wanda, and what I did to speak to myself, I was like, sweet, sweet Svava, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But you know what? I love you. And I know, I, as the adult today, know better now how to step in and be here for you and to stop make you feeling wrong for what happened. There was nothing you could do. You were a victim. But I am here now. And no matter what you say or do, I will not stop loving you. I will not give up on you. But I am not going to let you hurt yourself or others. Right? And they may go, yeah, right. Yeah, right. You're going to show up. Yeah, right. You're going to be consistent. Yeah, right. You're going to believe in me. Yeah, right. You're going to listen to me. Who here has raised teenagers? It's a little like that, but it's going on inside of you. So it's like, I hear you. I know. I have to show up for my inner teenager. And like, hey, sweet girl, I know you are pissed off. You have every right to be outraged. You have every right to be pissed off. But I will not let you, shame yourself. Tell yourself that you were wrong or bad or stupid. No. I'm sorry today for not having been there for you sooner. I couldn't when we were teens. I couldn't. We needed adults outside to show up for us. But it didn't happen then. But I am here now. So Wanda, what I would encourage you with would be to start to write her and give her permission to write you back. Write all the nasty language, the hurt, the outrage. Tell her, I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I'm scared to hear it, but I'm willing to hear it. That's how we show up as parents, as a safe, parent and a protector, right? I don't know why it scares me to even think about showing up or even talking to my teenage self. I'm just starting to listen or feel the emotions. Yes. Because they're big emotions, Wanda. It makes a lot of sense. Can you guys relate to why this is scary? Can you imagine being a teenager, right? In a stage of life where we need the most amount of support. We need the most amount of encouragement and support and validation and some structure in our lives. We need a lot when we're toddlers. But then again, as teenagers, we need an enormous amount of support. where we are doing the dance. Who am I? What am I? Who am I following? Am I listening to my parents? Am I listening to my peers? Do I want to be like them? Do I want to be like that? Do I want to be like this? Who am I? You got this, Wanda. You got this. Does anybody have any suggestions for Wanda on what would be a helpful affirmation? To remind, both yourself and perhaps your teenager, your inner teen. And the thing is, and I think in the beginning, like I said, what was scary was the thought of how angry and upset my inner teenager could be. But once I started showing up, and I was for real showing up, it wasn't just what I said. I actually was intentional about showing up for her, listening to her. Then she pretty quickly backed off. Oh, you really are going to listen to me. And then it was more sadness. It was more grief than anger. It was, mostly anger, hurt and grief. And I think for me, it was about, I carried the shame for so long, thinking there was something wrong with me. And I can tap into my feelings just here thinking about that, because for so long I felt so awful, dirty, and bad. I was just worthless, just, shady and, ugh. And once I showed up for her over and over and over again, and even telling her, Wanda, I kept telling her, like, I'm sorry, I'm a little scared too, right? No one has showed me how to do this. But like you just said here, Wanda, I don't know how to do this, but I'm willing to learn. And I'm willing to learn what you need from me. I'm willing to be here and do this together. But my boundary, I'm not going to let you hurt yourself or others anymore. I'm going to intervene if you start to express hurting you or other people, because now you know where that comes from. It comes from a very hurt part, right? And to remind her over and over again, I see you, I hear you. Nothing you can say or do will make me stop loving you. I will not turn away from you, no matter what you tell me, no matter what secret or shameful act from the past you will bring up to test if I'm still gonna be here for you. That's kind of what teenagers can do. How does that feel, Wanda? It makes sense that you don't know how to do this, and it's beautiful that you're going to be honest with her, because she's in there and she knows it already. Hey, friend. Hey, Sharon. Hey, friend. So exactly, Wanda, if you tell her the truth, she already knows. So we show up being trustworthy when we speak the truth. She's like, oh, I can feel she's scared. She doesn't know how to do this, but she's willing to try. She's willing to do it for me. She's willing to do it for us. She's willing to show up so I don't have to carry this pain anymore alone. Because it was never hers to carry alone anyway, ever. There you go. There you go, Sharon. Good to see you, friend. Yes, I hear you, Wanda. I hear you, friend. I hear you, sweet friend. And trust me, she is listening. She's here. She is listening. So you're doing good, my friend. But I think for me, what was very powerful was, again, I'm going to be here for you. You can speak your truth. You can express the hurt, but I will not let you hurt yourself or others. Like, that was a boundary, right? All right, Sue. Sue shares with us. She says, sadly, the most toxic person who's still in my life is my daughter. It took me ages to understand that loving her does not include accepting her manipulation or disrespect or trying to make everything better for her. She lives several hours away from me, but she would call quite late and would get tied up in difficult, and I would get tied up in difficult conversations when she would try to get me to fix her and tell me what I should do and how I should behave. Now I don't answer her calls. Instead, I call her back a little later when I am ready. And when we speak, I'm ready to be loving but firm. And I will end the conversation if she starts to speak in the old ways. Period. Good, Sue. Right? In my affirmation, love is always respectful, but doesn't have to accept disrespect. I hear you, Sue. I could not agree with you more. And that's a boundary. Love is a boundary, right? It's like, I love you, and I love you enough to set a boundary that I'm not going to let you, right, disrespect me, because that is also disrespect to you, right? Sue says, it took ages to get to that point. I hear you. I hear you, my friend. Absolutely, I hear you. But it is interesting, isn't it, that when we set up boundaries with people, we actually get either they start to respect us or they go away in many ways. So, yes, and Kevin agrees. Right, Kevin? Yeah? Yeah? Wow. Really? What do you think? He's funny. He's talking to me. You want to come over? Sue says, and of course, she doesn't understand boundaries because I didn't when she was a child. I hear you, Sue. I hear you. Yes, exactly. Isn't that funny? I'm going to go grab him. Hold on. Do you agree with us? Huh? Do you agree? This is Kevin. That's Kevin. Huh? She's starting to change. That's good. That's good. You were chatting. Huh? Yes? Yes, he is a cutie. It's so funny sometimes when he lays around sleeping and then I'm talking and then out of nowhere he starts to talk back. He is funny. He is funny. So, well, Sue, right? I recognize that was hard. It is always hard with our kids. It is very hard with our kids and our siblings and our parents and our partners sometimes. Yes, Sharon says, toxic people. My sister is the most toxic person in my life. She's narcissistic. Thank God I'm 1,400 miles away. At least I was able to physically separate myself from her. I hear you. I hear you, Sharon. She also says, I still talk to her on the phone once or twice a month. It's all toxic conversation. I usually just listen. She does all of the talking. Yep. I hear you. I hear you. And the thing sometimes with toxic people, they don't know that they're toxic. Sometimes they just don't know. They don't know, and they don't know the impact that they're having. Hey friend, I am so sorry. That is hard. I am very sorry to hear that. I'm glad you're here for some support. Glad you're here. I hope you're getting additional support. Yes, right, Rob? Well, you guys know, I think it's more though, no, but don't care. They don't care. I hear you, Wanda. Like I said, I don't know that for everybody, but yeah, but sometimes, well, if person is a certain way, like if that's just normal to them, if that's a normal way to be, they may not know that there is an option, or that they can change, or like I said, the impact that they're having on other people. And of course, then there are some people, right, that absolutely do not care. So I have a hard time understanding. I feel like I'm ready to set some boundaries. Good for you, my friend. Good for you. I hear you. It's important to speak up, to ask for what you need in relationships. Ask for what we need. They don't know sometimes until they feel our loving boundaries. I hear you, Sue. That way may be better point for some of them, Wanda. Yep. Sharon says, my last procedure was a negative outcome. I'll try again next week. My third procedure at the end of the week, I hope. All right, Sharon, I'm sorry to hear it, but we're praying for you. We are sending you lots of love. Lots of love. Rob says, or they are narcissists and it's just how they are. Yes, yes. Yep. And the sad part is that people who are narcissistic, they will find people to partner with that don't have strong boundaries, right? That are so loving and caring that don't speak up, and perhaps are being manipulated into, partnerships until maybe it's, I don't want to say too late, but to the point of we don't maybe see right away. Yes, right, Sue. We definitely hear a lot about that. A lot about that. I'm sorry, friend. I hear you. You're not alone. Because that is pretty normal when we aren't supported and loved and encouraged, and we have parents that support or model healthy boundaries. We don't know what they look like, and we think that's normal. Nope, not normal. But as we heal, exactly, or train their children to be passive and therefore primed for future relationships with narcissists. Yes, yes, I hear you, Rob. Exactly. It's just a problem, right, that gets passed down in generations in some ways, right? But as we learn and as we are healing, we recognize some of these things. We are learning to take responsibilities for ourselves today, heal our hurt from the past, not to, pass our hurt over to other people, ask them to fix it, ask people to love us, or to bend over backwards just to have people in our lives, even though maybe they aren't loving or kind or supportive. So the more we start to turn to ourselves with love and kindness, self-compassion practice, then we start to recognize, wait a minute. Yes, exactly, Sue. Having boundaries has made me feel more confident in myself. Yes, exactly. And I mean, I've been married 26 years. My hubby and I, we struggled a lot in the beginning. Where do I end and you begin? What can I ask for? Am I being too bossy or too aloof or too, you know what I mean? So it was very hard. It's like we were like two little kids in a sandbox. Both wanting the other to take responsibility for the other, right? Instead of like, okay, this is me, this is how I feel, I'm gonna take responsibility for me and my well-being, my happiness. And then the more I learned to focus on me and my healing, then I would be like, wait a minute, no. Unless you have something to say, if you have something to say to me, it needs to be done with kindness. It needs to be respectful. No, I can say no if I don't want feedback or you to tell me what's wrong with me. I have a pretty good idea of myself. I'm way better at beating myself up than you ever can, right? And after a while, we stopped that altogether, meaning we finally became friends in terms of, not pushing at each other's buttons. So that was an important boundary. And again, the key was, for me, very important boundary for me, like Sue had mentioned, was respect. I respect people. Usually off the bat, I give people the benefit of the doubt, and I expect to be treated with the same kindness and respect back. People having a bad day, that's all right. No one is perfect, neither am I. But, do your best to, show up, respect my boundary, and take responsibility for yourself. Ask for what you need. And if I overstep a boundary, please tell me about it so I can either fix it or, do something differently. So it is, and I think especially in intimate relationships, and again, this is where we struggle because we had many of us very rotten examples growing up, that it's hard to build intimacy exactly without boundaries and without very clear communications. So exactly, Rob says boundary education is the remedy for sure, like a firewall for toxic folk, whether low level or predatory narcissism. Sounds obvious. Thank you. You're welcome, Rob. You're welcome, my friend. And again, this is work in progress. And many of you know the struggle I've had with one of my family members in Iceland. I'm not mentioning any name, right? It's like, just like somebody else, yes, Sharon said, yeah, I love you, but we are an ocean away. I will not meet with this person anymore one-on-one. I met with this person through family gatherings this time, and it worked. It was fun. It was respectful. And that's all I'm willing to do. I could feel my inner child, my little girl, wanting more. Yes, it's gonna be different this time. They're gonna be nice. They're gonna love us. They're gonna want to be with us. But I was very loving and firm. It's like, hey, baby girl, past history has shown this person is not respectful to us. They usually have an agenda, and I'm not willing to do that anymore. And so I comforted her, my inner child. I'm her mom now. I'm her parent. I'm her protector. I'm keeping her safe instead of letting her jump in and out and kind of run the show and lead the way. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to let you get hurt. I'm not willing to go there. So, and every time I try, yeah, I can feel the little like sadness about it, because I would love nothing more than to have a relationship with this person. Thanks, Rob, but I'm not willing to be the punching bag or the scapegoat in my family anymore. So I'm like, nope, sorry, not willing to do that. So, and on that note, I drew a card for us, always perfect. One day she or he woke up and understood everything is a gift, and so is she. And that's it. When we honor the truth of who we are and that we are a gift, right? I am a precious gift. And so are you, Sue. I hear you, my friend. I long for a good relationship with my daughter. Yes, I get it. I get it. But you are a gift, Sue. Thank you, Rob. You are a gift, my friend, and so are all of you. And we are all working on, right, being in relationships, partnerships, friendships, where we are seen, heard, and validated and respected. And just pulling up a Brene Brown, one of my favorites, right? One of her quotes here. Daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others. Vulnerability is based on mutuality and requires boundaries and trust. And when we fail to set boundaries and hold people accountable, we feel used and mistreated, right? That's the bottom line with this family member of mine, right? I always end up feeling mistreated. And for a long time, I would feel used, and not doing that anymore. Boundaries and trust, right? And again, this is, for most of us, work in progress. Sure, absolutely, Sue. I'll post that in our group. So thank you, sweet friends. Thank you for being here live. Just holding up the book here again. This is the book we are working our way through, Releasing Your Authentic Self. We are on what day is it? 283 out of 365. Releasing Your Authentic Self. If you want to join the conversation, looking for some love, encouragement, and support, please visit my website, svavabrooks.com, where you can learn more about it, or send me a private message, and I will tell you all about it. And like I said, I'm excited to be back from Iceland after my 3-week trip. It was great. I was doing a lot of TRE workshops and looking forward to, yes, they were really nice. My friend Ingebjörg, who I was staying with in Iceland, she actually has written a cookbook basically on what to use from nature in Iceland. So she was super excited to see those mushrooms that we picked up, and we went home and we made mushrooms for lunch and for dinner. So yes, friends, so good to see everybody. So have a beautiful rest of the week. Yes, and I look forward to seeing you guys here on Tuesday. Same time, same place, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And until then, have a beautiful weekend. Do something, right, that sparks joy. Preferably go out and into nature, feel grounded, feel connected. So thank you guys. So good to see you. Good to be back. All right, sweet friends. I'll see you next time. Much love to you all. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for being here and sharing. Bye, friends.